Hello everyone, MJ here. Today, I'm going to present you a test battle. In this test battle, I'm going to be battling against not a competitive player, but rather a kid I hang out with. And since he's a kid, he doesn't play competitively. And you're probably wondering, how old is this kid? Younger than 10, tell you that much. So, since he's younger than 10, he's still figuring out the game and its mechanics. But he's just so adorable. You should see him. He's just so adorable. And he loves the anime. So, I figured one day that since I was transferring some of my old Pokemon from Pokebank, I decided, you know what? Why don't I do an anime team against him? He would probably love that. And he did. And the ones that I transferred were Pikachu, Butterfree, and Pidgeot. Charizard I bred myself, along with Bulbasaur, and Squirtle I got on Wonder Trade. So I was planning to breed the Squirtle later on, but this was just for fun. So I hope you enjoy the battle. I'm going to explain little things here and there. So, just a test to see how this thing runs out. Another fun thing about this battle is I had it on my birthday. So, I didn't tell him that, but it was a lot of fun. I had a great birthday that day. So he sends out his Mareep, I send out Pikachu. He told me not to use a strong move against his Mareep, so I just used Iron Tail since I figured Steel is not electric resist Steel, so I figured I wouldn't do too much damage. So I did a Volt Tackle afterwards. The Mareep faints. And the Pikachu gets a little bit of recoil damage. I told him not to use an electric move on me, but he still did anyways. So, this turn, he told me, don't attack him. He just wants to knock out the Pikachu. So, I did use Volt Tackle. I kind of, let him get away with that. Had this been an adult, I wouldn't have done that. And so I send out Bulbasaur. I wanted to use like Giga Drain or Toxic. But he switches out. I didn't know he was going to do that. And so I ended up poisoning his Lapras instead. And so for the entire time he was just talking about the show and how much he loved watching it on YouTube and Netflix and Cartoon Network and Boomerang and things like that. He just loves the show. He loves the game. He has Black and White and Black and White 2. He talks about them all the time. And I told him that I used to play some of the older games too. I didn't expect his Lapras to actually use the Ice Beam. I thought I would be able to, since he's a kid, I figured maybe he'll spare me this turn. Maybe he won't have any ice moves on his Lapras. I was wrong. I was severely wrong. And so my Squirtle keeps using Aurasphere since it's super effective against ice. He's very surprised that a Squirtle learns that move. I told him that Squirtle learns it through breeding, and that really got him excited. So then afterwards, he sends out his Hitmonlee. His Hitmonlee uses Power-Up Punch. Probably not that much damage on anything, but it's a kid. Power-Up Punch is usually good for things like Mega Kangaskhan and other stronger ones. I haven't seen people use it on many fighting types though, since they get better fighting type moves. So next I send out my Pidgeot. I use move Fly. I dodged his Power-Up Punch. then I knock it out. A lot of times when I battle with him, sometimes I lose on purpose. And there are the times where he asks me not to use a strong move or something like that. Sometimes I use my breeding rejects against battles with him. So they don't have any EVs on them. They don't have all perfect IVs or anything like that. So they won't do too much damage. And then we'll be kind of on equal terms. I'm kind of a little bit sad that I traded away all of my in-game teams. So just kept the competitive ones. Now I have to like keep a little, like a weak team or two to battle with him. Make things kind of fair. And here he told me he was like really upset that he couldn't get a poison on any of my Pokemon, but I kept poisoning him. So I let him poison my Pidgeot. I tried to let him poison like one of them, but at the moment I just kept feather dancing because he didn't want me to attack. So at this part we're just gonna be waiting out the poison. So he uses Sludge Bomb. Finally poisons my Pidgeot, so I still keep feather dancing, but its attack won't go down anymore. And so we just basically wait to see who's gonna faint first, which is probably gonna be my Pidgeot. So we're just toxic stalling each other, seeing who's gonna go down first. And my Pidgeot is almost there, almost there. And then he uses a super effective Rock Tomb, finally takes it out. Sometimes I also help him, tell him what moves are super effective against each type. Technically I'm kind of helping him out, but I think that's a nice thing to do with younger players, or older players if they're completely new to the game. I mean, if they don't know like the certain type of advantages and things like that, just be nice and tell them. And so he sends out his shiny Noibat. His friend got it from a friend safari. He just loves that thing. And so I put it to sleep, which kind of really pissed him off. I felt really bad after that. And so he said, don't attack him. I didn't attack him. Then he told me to attack this turn, so I attacked that turn. I did not expect Slug Buzz to do that much damage. I know that I did a Quiver Dance, but I didn't expect it to do that much. And so he said, don't put his Delphox to sleep. So I said, I won't. I won't put your Delphox to sleep at all. And so he uses Psychic on my Butterfree. And then I told him, you know, it would be best to use a Fire-type move against Butterfree. Because Butterfree is weak to Fire. Because it's Bug-type. So he proceeds to use Fire-type moves against my Butterfree. Butterfree's special attack dropped. So we're just both waiting for the poor Butterfree to just faint already. And I kept telling him, don't worry, he's gonna faint sooner or later. Because he was getting a little bit impatient since it was taking so long. Because with all those Quiver Dances, his special defense keeps rising over and over and over. So it took a while for it to get finally knocked out, despite the moves being super effective against it. So then I send out my last Pokemon, which is my Charizard. It usually holds the Charizard X, so I set up a Dragon Dance. Hopefully, I'm just wishing that he just hopefully knocks it out. And he doesn't. So I figured, well, good game, so I decided to just end it and knock him off. Knock off the Delphox with an Earthquake. And that was the end of the battle. I usually had like a lot of fun battles with this kid, despite, you know, it's not being competitive at all. But it's just a really fun time. It's a nice change of pace, too. Since I'm so used to playing with older players, and when I first started playing with them, I kind of forgot. This is a game for kids. I mean, there's just so many adult players that sometimes you forget, that kids play it too. So if any of you older players come across any younger players, and you know that they're younger, please be nice to them. Tell them how the game works. Talk to them politely. Don't be mean to them or anything. And just have fun. So, I hope you enjoy.